Hey everybody, welcome to the Bullets Wrestling Room here at Gettysburg College. I am Corey Jewett, Director of Athletic Communications here, and I am joined today by two seniors from the Bullets Wrestling team, Colin Kowalski from Durwood, Maryland, and Dan Ebert from Fairfield, Connecticut. Today we'll be talking about the 2018-19 Bullets Wrestling season preview. We'll find out what's going on with the Bullets as they head into another campaign. Colin, we'll start with you. You know, last season we had another productive season. We won 10 duels for the second year in a row. We did very well at conferences, very well at regionals. You yourself went to nationals. So just asking, reflecting back on last year, what were some of the biggest takeaways from last season?
Yeah, thanks, Corey. I think the biggest takeaway for me is that we're a good team and we're conference competitors. We had a great duel record. We didn't do as well as we wanted to at conferences and regionals, but we had a lot of good stuff going on, and there was a few matches that we lost that we were right there. So for me, I think the biggest takeaway is that we were right there, and we have, I think, 7 returners from our roster last year. So we have most of the same roster. We have a few young guys stepping up, and I think if we can continue to stay healthy and continue to grind out this season and have a strong finish, we can just build off of last year's success, and I think we can be a real regional powerhouse.
And of course, we have a couple guys returning to the team after not being on the squad last year, one of whom is Dan Ebert. Now, you were on the team, of course, but you were unable to wrestle because of an injury. Dan, I got to ask you, how excited are you to be back on the mat?
To be honest, I couldn't be more excited, having had to sit out the last entire year just watching everybody else compete and watching everybody grind all season and not being able to help out and be on the mats with everybody. Really frustrating, but I'm just happy to be back. The physical therapy over at Wellspan and the trainers here at Gettysburg are some of the best in the country, and my knee's back better than it ever was, so I'm just ready to get going again.
Of course, Dan did step in for a live video stream last year, provided some in-depth color commentary for one of the matches. So we'll miss him on the mic a little bit, but we're happy to see that he'll be on the mat as well this year. So Colin, turning back to you, we've been wrestling for 3 weeks, training, hitting the mats pretty hard. What has those opening weeks been like, and what's the team's attitude been like so far?
I mean, the team's attitude has been as good as it's been since I've been here. We had a great preseason, really focused on getting back in shape, getting our strength going, working on some key skills, and then kicking off practice. The season always starts off kind of slow, getting back into our moves and technique. But I think this year, now that we realize our potential and how good of a team we can be, I feel like the intensity has even gone up and everyone's attitude has met the challenge. So I think the attitude is great, intensity is great. Best 3 weeks of practice that I've had going into a season since being here.
Of course, that's a great segue, Dan, to the question I wanted to pose to you. Wrestling is a long season. I mean, the winter sports in general are pretty long, starting some of them in September, going to March for most of them for the national championships. How do you guys stay with it, both physically and mentally, during that whole time period?
Yeah, absolutely. Wrestling is just different than a lot of other sports because we start when it's getting cold in October and we finish when it's getting warm again in the spring. So it's a whole long season. A couple different things we do. We're always playing games. We got guys playing spike ball right now. We're always horsing around when we're not on the mat. And we do recovery days on Wednesdays. And again, I mentioned before, the trainers are really good here. Get us in the ice bath, in the hot tub, get nice and loosened out after practice. So there's just a ton of different things that we do as a team that really keep us together as a unit and help everybody get through the whole season.
That's great. Colin, last season, you had a great season. 37 wins, conference runner-up, 3rd at regionals, national qualifier. What are your personal goals heading into this year?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I had my best season yet. Last season, I'm hoping to build on that. My main goal this year is to become an All-American. I made the tournament last year. I hope to do that again. Hope to make that top 8. So that's just the main goal. In terms of the off-season, I've really been hitting the gym hard, probably the most that I have in an off-season. I put on some good muscle and some good strength that I think is really going to help me at the next level to get to my goal.
Do you think you miss Jeff Haneke from Messiah at all?
I had some good goes with Jeff. It was always fun, but I'm not too upset that he graduated.
Of course, Haneke was a multiple-time All-American, and he and Colin met 5 times during the season last year overall? Something like that. So, Dan, turning to you, kind of the same question. What personal goals have you set for yourself in your return to the Met? And, how do your teammates help with those goals as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of people think of wrestling as an individual sport, but it's absolutely a team sport. When one guy's out there, the whole team's out there, from 125 all the way up to Paul. So my personal goals, I've been a conference finalist in the past. I've already placed at the regions. This year I want to win the conference hands down. Definitely want to assert my dominance at that tournament. I also want to place top 3 at the region, which will qualify me for nationals, and then going off that, be an All-American. My goal last year was to qualify for nationals and be an All-American. I obviously wasn't able to achieve that goal, not wrestling, but this year I think should be no different, and I should be able to fight to be on that podium in Roanoke come the end of the year.
Yeah, definitely hope to see you there. Colin, Dane just mentioned Paul Triandafilo. I think I finally said his last name right after 4 years, I hope. You and Paul have been wrestling together for 8 years. You guys both came up through at Georgetown Prep. You've been here. You're now seniors at Gettysburg College. What has that experience been like wrestling with him? What would it mean to you guys to both get to nationals at the same time? Paul's a 2-time national qualifier, missed last season because of injury while you went. He went his first 2 years. And also, what would it mean to just have more teammates there as well in the national stage now that you've been there?
Yeah, so being teammates with Paul for 8 years now, it's been great. Paul's an excellent competitor, great teammate. Me and him have done a lot of good things together, and we've come a long way from these 8 years, so it would mean a ton to make the nationals with him. Obviously, it didn't happen last year because of injury, unfortunately, but I think now's the year to do it. So it'd mean a lot for me and our families. And then also, just having other guys on the team make nationals is always the goal. I think we have the team to do it this year, and having a big group of nationals really boosts team morale, and I think people can really feed off each other and do well on the national stage. So if we can get a bunch of kids on the team, including Paul and myself, that would be awesome, especially to go out like that on my senior year.
Of course, that's the overall team goal, is to get as many competitors to the national stage overall, but obviously we have conference goals, we have regional goals, Dan. So what's it going to take for this team to really rise up the ranks? We were picked number 2 in the preseason coaches poll behind Stevens. They were the number 1. Yeah. What's it going to take for this team to make a run at that conference title and also improve our regional standing from 11th place finish a year ago?
Absolutely. So the key for us this year to take that conference title and do much better at the regions is going to be just a holistic top to bottom solid wrestling. So obviously we know Colin's a regional place winner, conference finalist, Paul as well, myself as well. We know that we're going to be able to do the right things, train hard all season, and get on that podium. It's going to be the guys that maybe weren't starting last year, new to the lineup, or the underclassmen that are going to get us tough wrestle back points that are going to help us take that title. Take Austin Roscoe's, for example. Last year was not a varsity competitor his freshman year, stepped in as a sophomore and went ahead and placed at the conference. It's going to be kids like that who are putting up points in the wrestlebacks in order for us to beat the likes of Stevens and Messiah at the regional.
Yeah, Austin definitely came on strong last season. He's abroad this semester, so he'll be rejoining the team in January. So just real quick, a couple final questions here. This one is for both of you. What makes wrestling at Gettysburg College a unique experience? And you guys, after 4 years, should have some insight into this.
Yeah, I mean, there's a ton of aspects that make Gettysburg wrestling extremely unique. One of them, Dan kind of touched on earlier, is wrestling is an extremely long and grueling season. I think a lot of programs really focus on getting guys out there and grinding them every day and working. I mean, obviously we want to work hard every day, but I think one thing that Gettysburg wrestling does really well is keeps it fun. We're always out here playing spike ball, horsing around. We take light days, and we just make sure that people can make it through the season and still enjoy and buy in. So I think that's worked really well, and it's helped me to make it through 4 grueling years of college wrestling, is just being able to enjoy the team and enjoy my time. And I think that's one thing that we focus on and do really well.
Dan, how about you?
Yeah, kind of building off what Colin said, a lot of teams can get in there every day and grind, but it's really off the mat, the relationship the whole team has that makes Gettysburg different. Having been on 2 college teams myself and wrestling since I was in 6th grade, this is definitely the closest team I've ever been on. When we're not together on the mat, we're headed to Servo together, we're hanging out at somebody's apartment together. So that's really what makes us such a close team and such a dynamic group, and that's why wrestling at Gettysburg has been one of the best experiences of my life.
It's great, guys. And my final question is kind of a challenge for you both. So I've been doing these challenges with some of the varsity teams this year as we go through the preseason previews, looking to do something in the midseason with you guys. So I'm not sure what. I'm going to give you guys a couple weeks to think about it, come up with a good challenge that we can do. But I just want to ask you guys, do you accept my challenge in a contest of wills?
I mean, obviously, Corey, we always accept your challenge. You know what will be 4:15 every day this year, so just come find us if you want this work.
Dan, how about you?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll be ready. We train for every type of circumstance. So whatever you offer up, we're gonna be there and we're gonna be ready.
All right, these guys are ready to go, so I guess I have to get ready to go. I'm not sure I'm going to do the weight cut that you guys do, but I'm going to try to get prepared for this. So be on the lookout for that. We'll set a date for sometime in December once these guys kind of hit a little bit of a break through the first half of the season. So the wrestling team opens up on November 3rd at the Messiah Invitational. They've got a whole slate of contests this season, home and away, so check out the schedule at gettysburgsports.com. That does it for us. For Colin Kowalski, for Dan Ebert, this has been the 2018-19 Bullets Wrestling Season Preview. Go Bullets!